Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary.
You are listening to Kayak Adventure Series. Kayak Adventure Series. This is where you choose your own adventure. You want to be offshore. You want to be shallow. You want to go up the creek. You want to have a kayak that is sophisticated or a kayak that is simple. You get to choose your own adventure. Oh, looky there. That's a micro bag. I hope you brought the family. This is going to be wild. Hey, this adventure is going to be amazing.
What's up, guys? Hopefully you can hear me. Somebody out there tell me if I have good signal or not here in Towanda, Pennsylvania, Wi-Fi. Right on the river. You can see the river right behind me. So I'll check you guys in the comments and we'll see if you guys can hear me. And hopefully you can, so we can do this. All right, I'm getting a thumbs up from Jake. So we'll just keep this rolling. All right, thank you, New Fishing. I see you out there. All right, guys, what a crazy, wild day here in Towanda, Pennsylvania on the Susky. I just got into town. Literally, it's been quite an experience trying to get here due to just so many things we've had to kind of shuffle and adjust and figure out with this tournament and this tropical storm. So I see everyone popping on now. We got like 15, 20 people in here, so that's perfect. Obviously, this will be up live, but I'm going to tell you what we're going to do on this live stream. Today is normally our need to know. It's kind of like it's not really a rules meeting, but it's kind of like all the stuff that we want you to know about. But we just have made so many kind of changes so recently. I'm probably going to just keep this short and sweet tonight and then do a different video tomorrow, or just do a nice email, a nice clean email to everyone, update the website with the new changes tonight, do a nice quick email, succinct as I can get, right? And let it all be laid out there in writing so you guys can understand what's happening. But the short version is basically we're going to fish from, the safety is the most important thing here. Safety is like 100% most important. And the river is right behind me. It looks great right now. There's a stain to it. There's creeks that are coming in clear. So you got some clear water moving in and it's getting clear. But as we know, the rain's going to come and that's not going to stay the same. We don't know how much rain, obviously, but safety is of the utmost importance. So since we don't know how much rain and what it's going to do on Saturday, the only thing we can do now, one thing we do know is some rain will come on Friday. The river will go up somewhat. And just to kind of err on the side of caution, what we're going to do is let you guys fish because you're already, planning on being here Thursday night anyway for the opening ceremonies. And Friday was going to be the Bash U brunch, and we were going to sit around and have fun and do seminars and eat breakfast and fellowship, and that was going to be great. You're going to get on the water at 3 p.m. and fish from 3 to 7. But that would be hard for us to do, knowing that we might get blown out on Saturday, and knowing that, like, hey, we're already here. Why are we not on the water right now? Why aren't we here now instead of having breakfast all together and doing seminars? We could be fishing. So, that you came to fish the Susky. We want you to fish the Susky. So that's why we've moved it to 6:30 a.m. as lines in and on the water time, 6:30 a.m. So it's a little bit after the official sunrise time. We know it's going to be cloudy, so we want you guys to be safe. So we pushed it a little bit past official sunrise. So 6:30 a.m. is going to be again, this will all go in an email and on the website, lines in and launch time. And then what we also done is we're going to let you guys fish a super long day on Friday, because again, we don't know what's going to happen after it rains on Friday for Saturday. So we want you guys to experience this as much as possible. So, I've consulted a lot of people, some of the anglers I called, some of tournament directors. I talked to Steve Owens from Bassmaster, talked to Amanda Brandon, our tournament director, and everyone feels like, man, this makes the most sense. We already are at a tournament trail, which is fishing on Friday. And thank God we are, because we can make this adjustment and give you guys a long day on Friday in case we have no day on Saturday or a half day on Saturday or whatever it ends up being. So 6:30 a.m. launch and lines in. 7 p.m. you were already scheduled to fish until 7 p.m. on Friday. So 7 p.m. will be your lines out. And I know it's a long day, but think about it like this. You can do a couple floats. You could drive around and break it up and go to different creeks. You can, the river gauges, I don't think that's really going to be an issue on Friday. I think it's all going to pretty much be fishable like it is now. Just so you know, the Towanda gauge, according to Keith at Endless Mountain, they want to see that gauge around 2 is like the most primo. And right now it's sitting a little bit below 2, as Jake showed me here on the phone. It's a little bit below 2, but that's primo, is 2. Under, 1.75 to like 2.5 is probably perfect. And then what he does is he doesn't put anyone on the water, even just the recreational paddlers that rent kayaks from him. He doesn't put any of them on the water if it gets over 4. Obviously, we have a little bit better skill set than most of your average Joes that don't kayak, but I still say 4 is like the limit. And if you look at the predicted data for that gauge, Friday at 8 p.m., last time I checked, was the predicted time it was going to be up to 3.5. So if we're fishing till 7, we're still not even close to that, unsafe level, because we want to keep you guys safe. And of course, you'll get a nice long, what is that, like 12.5-hour day. I mean, so you guys can bounce around to different creeks. You can, do different strategies because you have that long day. You could go into town and grab some lunch. You could literally take a break and realize you got all day. So the only thing we're going to adjust, and I see New Fishing's comment. New Fishing saying is Friday is 99% chance of rain and Saturday is going to be the better day. Better day weather-wise for the sun and the temperature. But all that rain is going to go down into, the ground and all into the creeks, and it's going to rise the levels to an unknown quantity of water. So that's why fishing on Friday makes the most sense, because we know for a fact it won't rise to an unsafe level until late Friday when we're after the water. So if it does get higher and it gets flooded out and we have to cancel or whatever on Saturday, at least we got a whole full day in on Friday. And that's not a, uncommon thing. Bassmaster, Hobie, KBF, we've had plenty of one-day shootouts. This is totally normal. So if we have to call it, Bassmaster, the Elite Series or Major League Fishing, they've had plenty of times where it was a 4-day event and all of a sudden the 4th day gets canceled. But we are going to obviously we're expecting that rain to come up and make it potentially unsafe. So we want to give you guys all Friday. You're already here. You might as well just fish Friday. The only thing we are still debating about, and I see Jason saying there's 2.76 inches of rain Friday day. And that is probably, last time I saw it was like 2 inches or whatever. It keeps changing. It goes from 1.5 to 2.5 to 3.5. We just don't know. That's why we want to give you guys the opportunity. But if you know anything about, I'm going to tell a little story. If you know anything about fishing, my job is to get you guys in the best position to have the most fun, catch the most fish. And you guys know, as anglers, if it was 95 degrees and low and you had to drag, we'd be complaining that we wish it was raining and the fish would be turned on and there would be some stain and there would be more water in the river. That's just the way we are. But we're getting our wish in terms of like clouds and rain. The best fishing days I've ever had in my entire life are always on those weird weather days. The biggest fish I've ever caught are on these weird weather days right before a front, during the rain, things like this. This is what we dream of. I mean, the dichotomy between different people I've talked to today it's comical in some ways, but we've got anglers and people who are like chomping at the bit. They're so excited for what's about to happen. The rising water, the situation where this positions fish to stack up and catch them on, a lot of power fishing baits that, when they load up, they're excited. And you got other anglers who are nervous and not excited about it and it's just, until you get out there and you have a day like I've had, and many of you guys have probably had in the rain, and pushed yourself and probably fished on a day that you normally wouldn't have fished, like a tournament, certainly does. Like tournaments are just whatever the weather is, it kind of is. And every once in a while, of course, you do have to cancel a tournament day, but you start to realize what's possible and the crazy cool things that happen. Like when I was back in Georgia fishing the rivers growing up, we wouldn't really start fishing until like late March or April in the rivers, wait till it warms up a little bit. The water is at least in the like 60s. And then one year we're like, why don't we try to catch them in February? And then all of a sudden we got out there in February. It was more of a challenge for sure. But when you found them, you caught a lot of your bigger fish. You had some of those most magical days in February. And when you caught them, it was so rewarding. And I grew so much as an angler. I realized what was possible. And I learned more about fish and where they go and the behavior. And expanded my knowledge, and it's helped me to this day become like the angler that I've been fortunate to become. And if I didn't push myself and go out in a situation that might've been a little uncomfortable, it's not always the warmest in February. And then we pushed ourselves to January, and we're like, can we catch them in January, in the middle of the winter? Sure enough, we were able to find them, and we figured them out, and how they pack up and they stack up, and you can catch a bunch of them at one time. And it's some of the best fishing days I've ever had in my life. And it helped me, just become a better angler. So this is potentially an event for some of you guys. You may not go out on a day that's going to rain, most of the day, and it may or may not even rain as much as they're saying. We just don't know. But either way, the fish chew most of the time on rising. Like, go watch Jeff Little's most recent videos. Go look at the Bassmaster Susquehanna event. A couple weeks ago, we had rising water, and they were chewing. And it's exciting. This is exciting to me on what could be for some of you guys out there that have never, fished in rain like this, or in a situation with a slight rise in the water conditions. So I think we're gonna learn some stuff. We're gonna become better anglers, and I'm excited for you guys, because I think you're gonna be surprised in how great the bite really is, or how great it can be if you find the right area. Some people are gonna find it and find where they stack up and where they load up behind current breaks and things like that, and others may not. And it's not because the fish weren't there and chewing, because they're going to be. I promise you that. The reports so far have been great. People are catching lots of big fish. They're having fun. The waters are clear. A lot of the tributaries are very clear, and there's big smallmouth there. And then the river is slightly stained upstream in the boundary. We've got, and if I think Cole said he could let us share some of his video, where it was just epic today. It was like a slight green tint. It was just a slight stain. And again, this is probably going to stay that way all the way through most all of Friday, because it takes a while for that water to come in. So for the event, it's probably going to be incredible, just like it is today, or it was today and yesterday, and will be tomorrow and the next day. So we'll have to see. But anyway, the only thing we may allow and may work into the rules, and we got to figure this out, is if somebody that was going to fish the event could not get here to start at 6:30 a.m. on Friday, because they were planning on getting here and fishing the 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. window, and they can't get here sooner than that, we will find out. Message us, let us know if that's you. And what we'll do is we'll make note of that, and you can still we still want to give you the full amount of time if you want to use it. So you might still be able to have some time on Saturday, to fish the lakes or whatever as well. So we can, if we cancel Saturday, we can still give some other people some time, but we're not going to let you fish on any waters that are flooded. We will have to approve of the places you can still go. But if it's not flooded, then we'll still figure out a way where you can get some extra time, and we'll know that you are allowed some extra time because you didn't get time early on. So if that makes sense. So we'll make sure. There will only be a few people this will probably affect, but we just want to make sure everyone gets equal time if they want it on the waters here. So it's totally fair. The other thing we may change or tweak that we're going to talk about it, and you'll see it in the email, but it's probably a likely change, will be that you can potentially wade without being tethered. And the reason we want to do that is because if you are wading somewhere, sometimes that kayak in a little bit swifter or higher water, it can become a little cumbersome or more difficult to do. And we want you guys to be safe and be able to get there and maybe wade a little bit further. If you're in a tributary or on the side of the river, somewhere that is still great for wading, which there will be still a lot of good wading opportunities still, that we want you guys to be able to do that safely. And so, yeah, Jake's jumping in real quick. You want to come in? Well, yeah, the lakes. You guys got the email. You guys got the email that lakes are in play. The 4 lakes and more of the Tioga, whatever, the Chemung, the Choctaw, and whatever, how that said.
Yeah, and most of those should remain pretty fishable.
Okay.
Well, we looked at a couple of them today, and they look pretty good. Granted, that was before we get all this rain, but I wouldn't discredit the lakes. I mean, the reason why we include lakes in all our series is for literally this scenario,
right? And so much water. So there will be, and I'm gonna teach you guys. I'm gonna go tomorrow. There's a chance we do the Bass U brunch tomorrow for our opening ceremonies. If it looks like it's gonna rain and we don't want to be in the park during the rain, we're gonna see if we can get the theater on Thursday for our opening ceremonies. We pile in there. We have some food. We have some fun. I'll do a seminar and teach you guys how to read the river gauges and how to find water and find places. Because trust me, there's like 250 miles of rivers and creeks and balance for this event. So there is plenty of fishable water. It's not going to kind of ruin every single one of those places. And you can dissect and figure out through the river gauges the areas that got the rain, which areas didn't, which areas are fishable. You can bridge hop, you can bounce around. There's a lot of cool ways to, and I've done this in tournaments before. I fished a lot of tournaments that were flooded. I mean, flooded. Logan Martin Bassmaster, the original Bassmaster, was flooded. Pickwick was flooded. I got second there. I remember I tied with my buddy Ken Morris. Absolute flooded. And they, of course, didn't cancel the event. They just, you guys got to do your best and choose, the areas that are the best for your skill level, of course. The good news is in this section of the Susquehanna, guys, it's not like the Harrisburg section that's got a bunch of rapids and rocks, and it's not like that. It's actually more suitable for rising water. You're just going to be moving a little faster. There's not some big ledges and drop-offs and rapids that are going to get, kind of crazy and dangerous with the rising water. You're just going to go a little faster. So you're actually going to be able to do a longer float. And I'm excited for you guys. I'm so excited that we got this Wednesday, this Friday plan to be able to get you guys on the water and fish all day Friday, because we know for certain it's going to be okay on Friday. A lot of the water in the headwaters is just primo right now, and people are catching big fish. And there's we added the extra water, like I said, the Tioga and all those on the Chemung watershed. It's like 70 miles, that watershed, plus the 2,000 acres of lakes. So that's in bounds. That's looking really good. So you guys can, if we have, if we end up having 60 or whatever people in this tournament, who knows, with people that are kind of like on the fence teetering, but we'll leave registration open until the very last moment. By the way, I will say this, people that are getting refunds, that are backing out and all that stuff. I mean, guys, a lot of people have been, making little snide comments about, oh my goodness, I can't believe they would miss this, opportunity for the rising water bite, and how all day Friday that what we're kind of changing and zigging to a little bit here. But guys, you got to understand, some people have never fished in this before. Trust me, I wish they would fish it, because it's going to be epic and so much fun. And as anglers, I mean, I'm sure no one's actually surely no one's canceling because of some rain, that they got to fish in the rain. I think they're mostly, hopefully, canceling because of what they think might be happening. But I would just say, wait and hold out as long as you can, because we're giving you that opportunity to wait, hold out as long as you can, all the way till Thursday night. Listen to my seminars. I can help people individually try to find water that is fishable and that is clear. I can't tell you, I have no idea if the fishing is great or not great in these areas. I know that there's big fish, pretty much everywhere, but I've never fished all of this, but I can help you at least understand how to read the river gauge to make sure you found a spot that is, going to be clear enough and safe enough for you to go fish. But don't hate on anyone who's backing out of the tournament. We don't, it's out of everyone's control. But I'd also say, just challenge yourself. Like I challenged myself to fish in the winter. Like I challenged myself to fish the tournaments that were flooded out in Pickwick when I got second there of that KBF event. When I qualified for the Bassmaster Championship on Logan Martin out of 250 anglers, I got 16th. I challenged myself to find the fish and find areas. Where do they go when the water rises? And where do they stack up? And it made me a better angler. It made me who I am today. And if I wouldn't have had those experiences, I mean, most likely on a normal day, if those were the water conditions, I wouldn't have just gone out there and gone fishing. But because I did, it helped me grow as an angler. And I learned that, man, it's a lot of fun. And I can catch a lot of fish when the water is rising and when it's not the most pristine, perfect. It's going to keep the recreational paddlers off the water. So, and if you guys, I see a comment there, Thor Dog Racing, if you're not getting there till Friday morning, you can check in virtually. The check-in on Thursday is not mandatory. So send us an email. Obviously you're messaging us now, so we know, but we don't know your actual name. I got your handle, but send us an email. You can send it to two places. Send it to Chase the Wild at kayakadventureseries.com. Or also you could copy Amanda at kayakadventureseries.com, our tournament director. And we will know that you're checking in virtually. We don't do a board check. We do board checks after the fact. So, if we need to, we check your board. If it doesn't match up to the board that we see in the photos, then you're disqualified. So we'll send out another email. I'm not going to go over all the rules or anything now. There's not a lot left to say other than I'm very excited. I think this is going to be an incredible event for the ones who stayed. Oh, the last thing I did want to say is I don't know how many people have wanted to get a refund and back out. I would strongly, strongly encourage you guys, if you are one of those people who requested a refund, to reconsider because of what we've changed with the Friday. Not because like for my sake or anyone, the tournament having numbers. We obviously want, I've spent a year and a half of my life devoted to this weekend for all of you guys. Like it certainly would pain me to see you guys miss out on something that's going to be amazing and an experience that you can learn from, and that I know is going to be an amazing and incredible bite. And you would have a great time catching, big fish on a rare event of rising water and enough water to float you on the river in the summer instead of it being low and clear and us having to drag and hot and 95 degrees. We're very fortunate to this. It's a blessing in disguise. It's a godsend, but I know some of you guys don't realize that right now. You think it's the opposite. It's actually going to be incredible. And I get that, Friday's when the rain's coming in and whatnot, but Saturday only has an 18% chance of rain. Like they said, it's going to be beautiful weather. And if it doesn't rain as much as they're predicting and the rivers don't rise that level, we're going to be able to fish again on Saturday and have an incredible time here. So just hang in there. Send us an email if you have any questions. We have a lot of people to get back to. If you have requested a refund and you don't end up fishing the event and you need that refund, I know our rules, our website says it might take 5 to 7 days, and it may, because hang in there. We've got a tournament to run and we've got a lot of questions and a lot of stuff to figure out right now. Logistically, I've got Toyota dealership. I've got, a e-bike company who's bringing 5 e-bikes. I've got all these kayak shops bringing kayaks to demo. I've got food trucks. I've got a theater rental in time. I have all this stuff to manage and figure out if we can adjust those times a little bit and maybe, change this and change that. Can we get in the theater on Thursday in case it rains? And can we do our Bass U brunch and the seminars on Thursday? Or can we move them to Saturday? If we don't end up fishing Saturday, we can do that and then go right into the awards. There's a lot to deal with on our end right now. So hang in there for your refund. We'll get it to you. But having said that, all you guys who are so excited, and there's so many of you guys, there's actually a local club in Virginia that had to cancel their event. I think it's Maryland, Virginia. JL Scott and his crew. He called me and he's like, hey man, we're coming up because our tournament is going to get canceled because it's going to rain here and they're already letting out too much water out of the dams just in preparation. They don't know how much they're going to get, but they're actually going to they're going to have to cancel their event tonight. So they're actually excited and they're going to come up here and fish this one with us. So there are people that get it and they're like, man, I'm excited to fish in the rain or fish on a rising water. And we do it all the time. We're pumped. We know that's when the fish chew and they're like chomping at the bit to get up here. So it's going to work both ways. But for the people who are getting a refund and who are exiting the event, I'll say this to you guys who are sticking around for the event. We're going to pay out as if those anglers are still in the event. I don't care. We're paying out. So we're going to give you guys better payouts, better odds to win more money because you guys are excited about it. And we are too. And I know, that you're optimistic on what can happen in these conditions, especially given we're going to give you guys all day Friday when we know is safe water levels and safe conditions. So, and Saturday would just be a bonus. It'd be gravy. If that happens, cool. But Friday is all we need. One extra long day. I'm excited about it. So if you're in some of those joint events got, canceled, but you guys can still come and fish the Kayak Adventure Series event. And I promise you, Friday will be epic if you get on the water and you get the right spot and find them where they kind of stack up and move to. So, I've seen lots of people commenting they're going to be there, that, his rain gear, Ben saying his rain gear is ready, packed and ready to go. Let's go. I mean, that's the attitude, and you'll be surprised on what happens. But yeah, let's don't, thank you, Miller Time, First Class. I mean, look, it hurts, like personally hurts how much I've put into this event, how much, GoPro and all the big sponsors and everyone's done. It just hurts me that you guys would miss out on something that's so cool because, like I said, Saturday's weather is going to be great. So we can have a festival. We can have, a good time in the theater. We can put together a really cool event. So, what's Ryan Van Tyne saying? Yeah, hoochie daddy shorts and a cutoff. Wet is wet. I'm going fishing. You guys will be surprised what you'll learn. Thank you guys. Thank you, Josh. Awesome event. He says Miller Time saying him and his 12-year-old are ready and they're pumped. Again, the best days of my entire life fishing were in these weird, strange weather conditions. And I promise you, it will be fun. It's going to be awesome. And so everyone here that's commenting, you guys are all super excited. I wish I could curtail some of the people's fears. But you also have to respect that, guys. You got to respect it. You can't hate or don't discredit anybody or make any comments to anyone who isn't coming. They're going to probably miss out on something pretty cool and epic and special. And that's just, that's a decision. They got to do what's best for them, what they think makes the most sense. So, all right, a couple more comments here. Shirley, do you guys have any questions before I leave here? My Shirley's rigged up and ready to go. See you tomorrow. Hey, speaking of which, we're going to also, speaking of the kayak, Shirley, Hans from Bonafide's already up here. He's spending, the week here. He's excited. He's got the Bonafide RVR 119. We're still raising money for pediatric cancer. We're still going to have a good time doing that and raise money for a good cause. So, Keegan, thanks, man. Yeah, thanks for making it happen. It's going to be a legit adventure. I think you guys see that this was the best case scenario. And again, if you could not get here, or still, now that we've changed that and we're fishing all day Friday, can't get here until later on Friday, we're going to make a way for you to get those hours made up on Saturday. So we just need to know who it is so we can make sure the system knows to accept photos for you on a time when, it may not be still able for everyone else. So we'll get everyone the equal amount. So Ryan says also KAS or the kayak Keystone Bass Kayak Series. If anyone needs anything, he's got a full crew of folks that will help anyone. Just reach out. So, yeah, I'll also help. And yeah, exactly. We got plenty of time. Ben, you missed this at the beginning of it, and we'll send a full email out about all this. We're going to start at 6:30 a.m. on Friday, so about 30 minutes after sunrise. It'll be cloudy, so it'll still be, very, very dark, but plenty visible to get on the water. But nice safe light. It should be a nice safe light, 6:30. And again, you'll end at 7 p.m. So this is going to be one of the most fun events where somebody's going to just be in their truck, driving around, looking at different rivers and bridges and creeks and fishing a few hours here, a couple hours here, 1 hour here, and literally win the event, potentially doing that. And then they are going to learn because they did that. Or someone who just does a long float might win. But they're going to learn a lot of things based on what they see with their eyes and what the river gauge says. And then they can go back and look at that gauge, see what the level is and what it is compared to the median. Again, I'm going to teach you guys a lot of this stuff here this weekend when I do my seminar. If you notice, I changed the seminars on the website. One of them is understanding the river gauges and reading them to find safe, clear and fishable water. And that is the biggest key to how I've won so many events out there. It's understanding how it's all this big connected, moving and flowing system, right? The water from the rain clouds down to the ground, to the small creeks and the dotted line creeks, to the bigger creeks, to the rivers, it all connects. And once you understand that whole system, you can start to predict this stuff and understand where to go to find fish. There's nowhere in this boundary. There's no way it's all going to be like blown out, but we want to keep people safe. I know not everyone has the same knowledge and the experience I have. So we may have to cancel on Saturday if it just looks like it's going to be the smart move. So, yeah, that's a good question, Alfred. If there's any resource to learn river gauges real quick to review on YouTube, man, there's an episode of Hooked on Wild Waters I did where we actually did this as a side story. And there's some old episodes of the River Bassin podcast on my YouTube channel where I show it. But before the event, I'm hoping, guys, we can move our opening ceremonies to the theater. And they've got a small theater in there that maybe seats like 50 people. And I want to plug my computer up to that screen and show you guys the river gauges around here. We're going to look at them and teach you guys how to be able to find the clear water and the cleanest water and the areas that are not going to get, dumped with too much sediment. And you can do it just by looking at the river gauges. You don't need to drive over rivers and the bridges to actually confirm this. Is it nice if you have the ability to do that? Sure. But I just know now from enough experience, like what it needs to be on the river gauge compared to the median level on the CFS to be able to see that happening. And what's crazy is this event, Like it's the same thing as a tournament. It's a puzzle to figure out. It's always a puzzle. And someone's still going to figure out this puzzle. And the puzzle might be, okay, the rain came sooner, and now there's enough water in some of these creeks that weren't floatable and they were draggable, and the fish are in there. And then maybe you win it with 5 16-inch fish that came out of a creek. You know what I mean? But maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's one at the confluence of a small, teeny little trickle creek that's normally barely even flowing, but now it's flowing really good, but it's flowing kind of clear into murky water. And they like to be around that clear and murky water confluence where those two come together. So if you can find those, like Possum Kingdom was flooded one time in Bassmaster. I think I got 4th in the Bassmaster Kayak Series Championship on Possum Kingdom. It was flooded, and the whole thing was chocolate red. And I went to those little dotted line creeks that aren't even really creeks because they clear up first. And they were flowing in clear water into the backs of these areas where they drained in. And that little area of clear water, fish were just loaded. I mean, loaded. But it's all about a timing thing, because those also muddy first. Those are the first ones that drain the fastest and they muddy, but they also clear up first. So I can teach you guys some stuff on that. And hopefully Thursday we can do that at the theater. So let's see. Jason's saying if it's 6 a.m., remember it's 6:30 start time, not 6 a.m., 6:30 is happening. And we're allowing all day, and you don't cancel Saturday, then same launch and end time. Saturday will be a shorter day. It will be a shorter day on Saturday. It will be no less than 4 hours and no more than probably 6. The reason being, like 12 hours is already like the length of our tournaments. That's like a day and a half of fishing already. So we're already giving you that all on Friday. So but if the weather's great and the river's still fishable and we didn't get as much rain, of course we want you guys to keep fishing, have more fun. This is the Fiesta, right? On the Susky. Let's party, right? So we want you to keep fishing. So, but it's going to either be 4 hours or 6. And what we'll try to do is even move up the festival a little bit if we can get it. If you guys can fish from 7 to noon or something, or 7 to 11, whatever it is on Saturday, we'll try to move everything up a little bit so we can have a little bit more chill time, because you guys are going to be pretty whipped. I mean, you fish 12 hours on Friday, turn around and go right to sleep because you got to get back. We end on set at 7 p.m. So best bet you're getting to sleep at 10. By the time you get back, you get things unloaded, dry everything off, and figure life out, right? Get food. So we don't want you guys to be just so stinking whipped that you just don't want to go out, because we have an incredible time. Bobby Roastbeef from Jigs and Bigs podcast has got this cool trivia game for us at the after party at the Flying Taco after party. I'm telling you, it's fishy trivia. He does this full time for a living. This guy is legit. And we have prizes for this. Dark Horse Tackle is providing a couple of their boxes for prizes for the trivia. We got the whole rooftop. And again, it's not raining on Saturday at that time. So we have the whole rooftop reserved. It's going to be a ton of fun. We want you guys to have energy to be able to still go out and have fun Saturday after the awards. So hang in there. This is shaping up, like Justin's saying, to be truly epic for those who are taking part of it. All the extra payouts for many, from the people that are not going to make it, want a refund due to the weather, that are, I think, probably calling it a little bit. I mean, they have reasons, of course, like that, they have lodging and things they got to schedule and figure out. But I wish that they could have waited like a little bit longer and seen what we've done. And maybe they still can or still will. See what we've done with this Friday, letting you guys fish all day Friday in the best conditions, rain, clouds, and rising water in the middle of the summer, which these fish just never see this. So it is shaping up to be epic. So we'll have a good time with whoever's here and make it fun. So we'll see you guys. We'll end this live stream now. We'll follow up with emails to you guys, and still encourage your friends to get registered. Still plenty of time to get registered all day tomorrow. It'll stay open, of course, because this will be a fun and unique and special event. So we'll make it a fiesta no matter what. Most importantly, guys, stay safe, stay positive, love one another, and love yourself. That's the most important thing. What the rain can never do, this series is all about the fellowship and the camaraderie. No matter what happens with this rain, guys, they cannot stop us from getting together at the festival, at the theater, at the brunch, whatever it ends up being, at the after party. They can't stop us from having a good time in the fellowship, which is what this is most important, most about, more so than the fishing. It really is about connecting with each other and having a good time, creating friendships and fellowship. And obviously, if you can catch some big fish at the same time, then that's good too. So hang in there, and we'll be in touch with you guys and continue to send emails out, official emails through the Tourney X system. So thank you guys for all the support. And I might have some daylight left to go catch a fish. We'll see. Probably not. See you guys.